Hello, my name is Lillian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. I always get messages, like tons and tons of messages from you guys complaining that your hair is dry. Like no matter what you do, it seems like your hair is always dry. And most times when I get those kind of messages from you guys expect me to give you product recommendations or like a DIY that will help cure the dryness of your hair. I'm not going to come on here and act like products are not important or anything like that, because products are actually important. But there are some other things that are equally important that if you're having all those issues, or if you've not tackled all those things, then no matter what you do, you can be using the best products in the market, you can be using great products, but your hair is still going to continue to be dry and things like that. And I keep interacting with you guys one-on-one, so I decided I should just make one video so that I can refer you guys to anytime I feel like you need this information. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys those things that so many people overlook, that is not really as talked about in natural hair community, but that may actually be responsible for dry hair. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. So the first thing we're going to be talking about today is alcohol. I know that you may be thinking that yes, I know about alcohol. Yes, we should stay away from products that contain drying alcohols and things like that. But it's not just about staying away from products that contain drying alcohol. When I'm talking about alcohol, yes, I mean products that contain alcohol, but I also mean alcohol as in regards to consumption, like the amount of alcohol that you drink or you eat, depending on, I don't know how how you like to consume your alcohol, but I'm also referring to that. The thing is that alcohol is very drying, whether you put it on your skin, on your hair, or whether you consume it. After taking alcohol, you may not notice the effect immediately. You may take alcohol now, and then in a few days time, or maybe a week's time, that's when you're going to start to see that your hair is dry, and you may have even forgotten that you even took alcohol, a while back, that kind of thing. Of course, it highly depends on the quantity of alcohol that you're taking and like the percentage of alcohol that is in the drink that you're taking, because I'm assuming nobody just goes to take 100% alcohol from the lab. So yeah, alcohol can actually be drying to your hair, and how it works is that our hair, I've told you guys several times and I'm going to say it again, sebum is the most moisturizing thing that you can give your hair. And what I mean by sebum is the natural oils that your hair, that your scalp produces. Those oils are like very rich. Those are the best products that you can ever put on your hair. And the thing about sebum is that the quantity and also the integrity, or like the quality of the sebum that your scalp produces, is highly dependent on the kind of things that you consume. So if you eat things that are not going to be beneficial to you, you are eating junk, then your sebum is not going to be rich in vital nutrients that will help to nourish your hair. If you are drinking a lot of alcohol that is drying, that will mean that your sebum is actually going to take some part of that alcohol, and that will also mean that it's going to be drying to your hair. If you're not drinking enough water, that will mean that your sebum will not be moisturizing enough, and so it's going to be drying to your hair. So I highly recommend that you pay attention to the things you consume. Yes, I'm focusing on alcohol here, but I also mean consumption, whatever you consume in general. I'm not saying that drinking alcohol is totally bad, but just like for the rest of your body, like it's always advisable that you don't take too much alcohol. Whenever you go out to your friends and they are telling you to take one bottle, take two, or take three, you're drinking, you're having fun, if you think you're living life, you go back home, you probably have a hangover, and then that day is over, you think like you have escaped it. Your hair is going to tell you about that alcohol that you have taken weeks later. You may just realize that you may not even remember that you had that night, and then it just seems like no matter what you do, you're moisturizing, you're doing all the right things, your moisturizing products are no longer working, and that's because your hair is dry, because you have consumed something that is drying, that has eventually made your scalp dry. So generally, people who always consume alcohol generally tend to have drier hair than people who don't. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is hard water. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know how much I preach about putting water in your hair, like drenching your hair in water, wetting your hair, and things like that, because I keep saying that many people put too much emphasis on products, but basically products that you're applying in your hair are basically what the role that many products play is just they act as sealants to seal in the moisture that you've already gotten from your water. So water is very important now, but the kind of water that you put in your hair also matters a lot, and that's why I get messages from people telling me that yes, you say water is good, water is this, blah 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 blah, and things like that, but water dries my hair. You know, people keep saying that water dries their hair, but the thing is, it's not just the fact that water per se dries their hair, but it's because of the kind of water that they are putting in their hair. Hard water will most likely be drying to your hair as opposed to soft water. Now thankfully where I live I have access to soft water, so I really do not have the issues with hard water. But if you live in a place where the water you use for your day-to-day activity is hard, then you may actually notice that putting water in your hair may actually be drying to your hair. Now natural water, basically water that you get from natural sources, are actually without any form of artificial filtering or distillation or anything like that, usually contains minerals. Those minerals are actually nice and they are beneficial to the hair, and that's why I usually recommend that it's better for you to get your water from, like, many people opt for using distilled water in their hair because of the hardness and things like that. But if you can get soft water from natural sources, it's actually better, because apart from the fact that you're putting water in your hair, the water also comes with some nutrients that actually help to nourish your hair. Hard water is actually water that has very high mineral content. Most times hard water is water that has like passed through rocks and things like that are calcium, like limestone and things like that. But let me not go into the geology of hard water, but basically hard water is basically hard water that contains high mineral content. What happens when you have high mineral content? Think of it like this. Like, if you have, I don't know how many of you eat cornflakes. So if you take your cornflakes, right, and you put it in, like, you put a bowl of water and you pour your cornflakes into the water, notice that the cornflakes will get soft pretty fast. Now take another group of cornflakes, the same kind of cornflakes, take your water. If you have powdered milk, pour your powdered milk into the water, mix it up and things like that, then put your cornflakes into it. If you put the two bowls of cornflakes side by side, you're going to see that the cornflakes put in plain water is going to get soft and, like, softer. It's going to become soft way faster than the one that has the cornflakes that you put in bowl of milk. That's your water that milk has already been poured into it. It's kind of like a similar principle that works with hard water. So because the concentration of minerals are very, very high, the water is not going to be as moisturizing as plain soft water that has little quantity of minerals, that just has just enough that will help to nourish your hair, but not so much that is going to be preventing the water from penetrating into your hair. So that's why it's very, very important that if you have hard water, I highly recommend that you invest in there's this thing there is like a shower head that helps to kind of like sieve out the mineral, so that the water that comes to you is more like soft, is a little softer, and that will not have that kind of effects in your hair. I've forgotten the name that they call it. If I remember, like, I'll check it and put it on the screen. But it's kind of like a filter that helps to like filter the water so that it's no longer as hard. Or you can invest in other means of softening your water before you put it in your hair, or you can use distilled water. But like I said, distilled water is artificial water. Those natural nourishing nutrients in regular soft water gotten from the earth are no longer there, so it's not going to be as beneficial to your hair. But if you cannot, it's better for you to use distilled water than to use hard water, because hard water is going to be drying to your hair. And that's also another reason why I usually tell you guys that you should not depend on mists, like all these leave-in mists and sprays and basically products that are liquidy, as your main source of moisture. Because just like I said, it's just like this, like what I just explained. If you put something in your water, it will no longer be able to penetrate your hair as much as if it was just plain water. So yes, mist and all those leave-in sprays and leave-in mist are very, very good for like quick, you're on the go, you want to quickly top up on your moisture. But that should not be the only source of moisture. It should not be that every time you want to moisturize your hair, you're grabbing a mist or something, a lotion, or like something, or mixture of water and conditioner and things like that. By the time you mix things into your water, the water is not going to be as moisturizing anymore. Now I'm assuming that we are talking about soft water here, not hard water. So soft water is going to penetrate your hair way faster and better than water that has been mixed with any other thing, whether it's your leave-in conditioner or even if it's a store-bought product that is a leave-in spray or mist. So as much as you can, drench your hair in water, but make sure the water is soft. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is your weather, your climate, basically the atmosphere where you live. Many people complain that their hair is always dry and things like that, but sometimes it may not actually be reasons that you can prevent per se. So if you live in a place that is really dry and arid, then you're most likely going to experience a lot of dryness in your hair. Also, if you notice that, I don't know how many of you have noticed, but like periods of the year that is usually very dry, you notice that it also means that your hair is usually dry and things like that. What you can do if you live in a place that is very dry is that you should moisturize your hair more often, you know. So that, I don't think that's really a big problem. So if your dryness is as a result of where you live, then I highly recommend that how you know is that as your hair is getting dry, your skin is also getting dry. So if you live in a dry atmosphere, your nose will also tell you that the atmosphere is dry because breathing in moisturized air or moist air, it feels different on the nose than breathing in dry air. Your nose will tell you whether you live in an atmosphere that's very dry. So if that is the case, then what you need to do is moisturize your hair more often, and you also want to invest in thick nourishing products that will help to keep in the moisture in your hair for as long as possible. So that's that. Another thing that is also very related to these points that I'm saying now is whether or not you have what's it called, air conditioner in your house. There are some people that are constantly moving from air conditioned house to air conditioned cars to air conditioned place of work and things like that. Now I'm not saying it's totally bad, but you should also bear in mind that if you're constantly in a place that is air conditioned, that will also mean that your hair will get dry faster, because the air conditioner basically dries out the air, you know. So if you're always in a dry atmosphere, your hair is also going to get dry, even if the dryness is as a result of your air conditioner. What you can do in situations where your dryness is as a result of the atmosphere, you can try to cover your hair. So you can invest in like hair coverings and things like that. But even if you don't want to, like for me, I'm not really a kind of person that likes to cover my hair, you know. So if you're someone like me, all you need to do is just increase the frequency of your moisturizing routine. So if normally you should usually moisturize your hair maybe every 2 days, you want to increase to every day, or like if you used to moisturize your hair every 3 to 4 days, you want to increase to like every day. Or for some people, you may even need to start moisturizing your hair multiple times a day, you know. So you want to invest in you basically want to do styles that will help you to get access to your hair to moisturize it without causing too much manipulation. So you really want to pay attention to that. This is why it's very wrong to copy and paste someone else's routine, because yes, you may be using the exact same products as I'm using, but you may not actually be getting the exact same result, because number one, you're not eating what I'm eating. There's no way you'll be eating what I'm eating, because even if I show you guys what I eat and things like that, I cannot show you everything, because there's no way, except you come and stay in my house. Even if you live in my house, there are times when I'll go out and you are not going to see what I'm going to be eating. So it's right. I usually advise that you do not copy and paste other people's routine. Check out their routine, learn from their routine, look out for things that you think will be beneficial to you based on your lifestyle and so many other factors. And if it makes sense for you, then you can, you know, incorporate that into your routine. But it's never a good idea to just copy someone else's routine completely and just start practicing it, because number one, you don't eat what they eat, you don't live where they live, your atmosphere may not be how their atmosphere is, you don't use the kind of, even if you use the exact same products that they use, but there are so many other factors that affect that. Now some people generally naturally have dry scalp, dry skin, dry, you know, that kind of thing. So for people like that, like I said, all you need to do is increase the frequency that you moisturize for people like that, and you see that it will do your hair so much good. So I hope with all these points, like you've been able to get to the bottom of what is causing the dryness for you. If you have any more questions, please leave them down below. I'm also open to chat with you guys, so if you have like any questions that you don't want the world to see, you can always send me a DM on Instagram. I'm always happy to reply you guys messages. You can send me an email. I'm going to leave all the information will be in the description box, so you can check that out. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if this is your first time on my channel and you'd like to see more videos from me, then definitely subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that every time I upload a new video you get a notification. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.